Main areas concerned at the moment, Daniel?
Yeah, good morning. Obviously, we're still seeing those waters laying around and receding in many parts of the state. Clear focus for us today, certainly on western parts out towards Moree, up towards the Queensland border and surrounding areas. Mid-North Coast continues to be a focus where we're still working through jobs there, and obviously through the Hawkesbury and Western Sydney. I spent the day out yesterday with a number of crews in that area, and the amount of devastation through there is really quite phenomenal.
Daniel, at least 45 homes we've been hearing have been evacuated on the New South Wales mid-north coast after a septic leak spread sewerage and into dozens of yards and streets. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we got advised through our contacts with New South Wales Health last night that this had been identified. As you said, a number of evacuations have occurred, and it's now a work in progress to restore that as quickly as possible. Obviously, the focus on people's health and safety first, but then getting them back home as quickly as we can afterwards.
With such an event like this, it's only to be expected that it sometimes takes days, maybe even weeks, to get a real snapshot of what's happened.
Yeah, and it will, as waters recede, people will finally get access to their home again. We were able to clear quite a number of evacuation warnings or orders yesterday, allowing, I think it was almost 60,000 people back to their properties. So we will start to see, as the water recedes, what has actually happened in some of those places. Yesterday, as I said, up and down the Hawkesbury, I saw some pretty phenomenal sights. Debris well up into the trees, houses that have been inundated, and people are already starting to remove the inners of their houses. So there's still a long way to go in this. We urge that people remain vigilant. The risk around floodwaters is still there in terms of either driving through floodwaters or being in those waters, and as we've seen with the septic issue overnight.
And finally, Daniel, we've got still major flooding west of the Divide. East of the Divide, as you've been mentioning, we've still got the flood waters. They are slowly receding. And in terms of how widespread it is and how long do you think it will take for this cleanup? But what are we thinking here?
Yeah, look, there's still water to flow from Queensland into western parts of New South Wales. So a number of the river catchments there really start well up into Queensland. So our current predictions are at least another 8 weeks on some of those catchments. Some of those catchments not in flood at this point in time, but that will start to flow through. So again, this is going to be a long drawn out campaign. It is very much in the swings of the early recovery phase across the East Coast. But certainly parts of Western New South Wales are going to be seeing floodwaters for quite some time.
Daniel, thanks for coming on to give us an update.